Creality is known to make a pretty decent 3D printer, so when they approached me about doing a review on their Falcon 40-watt diode laser, I jumped at it because my thoughts were, well, if the thing is near as good as their 3D printers are, then this ought to be a pretty decent laser. And my first impressions matched my expectations. When I unboxed it, it was very well boxed, and when I was putting it together, the cable management was just brilliant. So after I finished getting it set up and put together, I went online to their site to find out what the specs of the machine were, specifically the max speed of it, so I could start doing some material tests. And what I found on their website was 25,000 millimeters a minute. Now I use standard measurements on things, so I was going to convert that from metric to standard measurements, and 25,000 millimeters a minute equates to 900 inches a minute. So I made a material test and started engraving to see what this thing was made of. But after the test was done, I noticed that anything above around 400 inches a minute, there was not a lot of change. As you can see here, it is identical between 400, a little bit above 400 inches a minute to 900 inches a minute. So I concluded that the feed speed was not changing on the laser. So I did a speed test between my CO2 laser and the diode laser. As you can see here, there's a huge difference in the speed. So I went into the Creality's controller settings and found that 25,000 millimeters a second were indeed set as a max speed, but it sure wasn't doing it. So I concluded it was obviously a mechanical issue. It just wasn't capable of going that fast. So I did another material test with my new max speed findings and went from there. And I also figured out whoever typed this up must have done it about 5 o'clock on a Friday. They misspelled something. So despite my disappointment that it wasn't as fast as they claimed, I wasn't going to give up on it yet. So I decided to do some real world projects with it. And I found some laser, what they call laser foil. And I think what it is a mylar film. It comes in various colors, and you can use this to engrave away the paper, and what's left, you can leave a really nice engraving. And I discovered on YouTube that you can do wood inlays on a laser. And I love doing inlays, so I had to give it a shot. And what I discovered was you take some black walnut veneer like I have here, and an aluminum tape as a backing. And you basically just tape the aluminum tape to the veneer. And this is used to create the inlay, or the plug as most people know it by, to glue down into the pocket that you create on another piece of wood. So what you're seeing me do here is I'll actually engrave a negative of the inlay that I want to do, and it will burn away the veneer from the metal tape. I had to run 2 passes because you can see here there's some glue residue left over, and it required a second pass to burn the glue residue away so it didn't interfere with the inlay once you glued it into the pocket. And then once that was done, I engraved what would be the pocket of the image into just a scrap piece of maple that I had laying around. I've actually done a handful of these before making this video, and I've had a ball doing them. They're really super easy to do. The only drawback is that when you're doing super small inlays like this, it's kind of difficult to get the inlay matched up in the pocket after you glue it in. And though you don't see it here through the magic of video editing, I actually struggled to get this inlay lined up with the pocket. But once you get it in, you feel that snap just like you would on a normal wood inlay, and it worked out pretty good. And you don't need a lot of glue, obviously, because the inlay's so small, so I'm just wiping away any excess so it doesn't interfere with the tape. And then once I got the inlay set into the pocket, I clamped it up and let it sit overnight so it get a good cure on the inlay into the pocket. Now, aside from the fun factor of just making these inlays on the laser, I wanted to try it on the Creality as an acid test just to see how detailed it could get. And after I got everything unpeeled, I just did a quick pass with 120 to knock the glue down. It didn't take much. And I think it turned out pretty good. There's a couple of small little anomalies in it, but I'm pretty sure that's probably my settings needed being tweaked over the laser. And after rubbing little rubios on it, it turned out really nice. And this is why I love doing these laser inlays, because look at the detail of those leaves. That's just amazing to me. So let's talk about the pros and cons of the machine, and I'll start with the cons. The biggest one that stands out to me is the lack of speed, advertised speed of the machine. Usually when you run across small diode lasers like this, what you see is that the laser head can't keep up with the feed of the machine, but this is the exact opposite. The machine can't keep up with the laser head. The 40-watt laser head does a great job, but you can't get its full potential because the machine's so slow. And like I mentioned, despite me going into the controller settings to verify that there wasn't anything holding it back, and it wasn't, I'm just going to assume that it's just it's a physical issue, that it's just not capable of going that fast. So if Creality could fix that, I think that would bump this machine up to the next level. And the next con that I found is the lack of digital display. It's got these manual buttons here, but you know, this is 2024, going on 2025. A little bit of visual feedback goes a long way. So if they could put a digital display on there for feedback reasons, I think it would also be a welcomed addition to this machine. And the last con I'll mention is the setup time. The machine's built pretty sturdy, but the setup time took me about a week to get it set up because I found that the belts were loose. The machine really wasn't square. The laser head was not 90 degrees. There was just lots of tweaking that needed to be done to set it up and get it to cut accurately. And I think I've used other machines in the past straight out of the box and they cut great. And so I was a little disappointed in that. The biggest pro that I have for the machine is the laser head. It's very well done. It's very powerful and precise and consistent, and what anybody would be looking for in a laser engraver. But like I mentioned earlier, the only drawback of this thing is the mechanics. The gantry can't keep up with the laser head. But other than that, it's a man. And the second pro I want to mention, I think is a big deal, is the air assist. This is the best air assist I think I've ever seen on a small diode laser. It actually is a two-stage like you see on the larger lasers. It has a small pressure when you're doing engravings, and that stays on all the time. But then there's a second, more powerful pressure that you can set. It has an adjustment on the side when you want to do cutting whatnot. And I just think that's brilliant and very well done, and what sets this particular laser apart from other lasers despite the weaknesses that I mentioned. So there you have it, my take on the Creality Falcon2 40-watt laser. Is it the best laser out there for the price? No, but it's not the worst either. Like I said, I was just very disappointed in the speed limitations. If it wasn't for that, I would have sang his praises much more. And like I said, the setup time was a little bit more than I thought it should be. Maybe it's a quality control issue, I don't know, but there was nothing broken. It works. Not quite as advertised, but it works like it's supposed to. So I think that admittedly there are better choices out there, but this brand, this series of laser is not the worst you could do either. So I wish this could have been a better review, but it is what it is. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you appreciate the information I added here, and stick around. I got some other stuff coming in the near future. Y'all take care.